And here we go. What is going on, everyone? It's Adam Rich here with the Really Rich Podcast, and it is September 21st, 2018. And this is the first real video that I'm going to be putting to YouTube. Most of the people that listen to the show have been doing it through the audio, through Spotify, Anchor, Stitcher, etc. I don't want to leave anyone out, but thank you so much. I appreciate the support. I do. I love it, and I love you guys. Thank you so much. I'm now doing it on YouTube as well, so you can catch it on YouTube. You can catch it on, or you can do it through video or audio. So I wanted to make that where if you wanted to watch it, you could, and if you wanted to just listen to it, if you're at work or driving or whatever, you can do that too. So anyway, I thank you guys and anyone for watching. Thank you so much. That being said, I wanted to really talk mostly about what each and every one of us, every one of you, what motivates you? Like what is it that makes you happy? What like brings you joy? What do you wake up for? What do you get out of bed in the morning for? What drives you? Like what are you trying to achieve? And how are you going about doing it? Do you think you're going about it in a very awesome way? Do you think you're doing it like the proper way? Or do you think you're doing it for the right reasons or the wrong reasons? Or, I mean, because I notice a lot of people are real into, excuse me, real into the idea of, I want more. Man, excuse me. Sorry. Ooh, had a little tickle. Anyhow, I notice most people are always constantly chasing money. Like that's a common theme. That's what a lot of people are always shooting for. And I'm not trying to knock that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but really if you think about it, it's an empty I don't want to say it's an empty feeling and it leads to empty whatever. I'm not trying to say all that, but what I am trying to say is that when all you care about is making more money, I just want more money, I just want so I can buy this and so I can buy this and so I can buy this. It's an endless pursuit. That's why I say it's empty. It can never be fulfilled. It's not something that you can. If your only goal is to buy, like just keep buying more stuff, you're never gonna stop. I mean, there is no reason to. Why would there be? There's always going to be cool shit to buy. So you have to understand that, and if you're like, you have to have more. There's got to be something deeper in you that makes you want something more. Like, I would much rather, like, I care more about like people like that I care about having good health and being friendly and being taken care of and just people that I care about. I want to be happy, you know. I want them to be happy. I want them to be alive and well and do good, you know. Like that brings me joy and like helping others and like doing things that like bring other people joy. Like I think that's awesome, you know, and it's not like that's the only thing that I care about, obviously, but I'm just saying like that to me is a very important thing. And any way I can go about helping people, like if I can learn something, if I can teach people stuff, like I just love communicating with people and I love talking with people and getting ideas going and just, I don't know, like just learning stuff or talking about things that like nobody wants to talk about. Because especially in today's society, we live in a world where you say anything and it's going to offend somebody. Somebody out there is going to cry about something. And I understand some things are like really, really hurtful. I get all that. And I don't like, I'm not saying you should go out and just say those things at any random moment. But what I am saying is like it used to be in a place where you could say things that were factual and it wouldn't hurt people's feelings. Like that's the biggest problem I think with today's society is that you don't have like the people don't care. They only care about themselves. They just don't hurt my feelings. I don't care what like happens in life or with other people or in the world. I care what happens with me. I care what if you affect me personally or if you hurt my feelings. Like I mean, you can't, there's so many things you can't say anymore. Everything is PC, politically correct. and you have to watch everything you say. And it's I don't want to say it's messed up, because there's some things that just shouldn't be said. I mean, but see, here's the thing: is in the past, people relied on common sense. You had to have common sense to survive out in the world, to survive in society. You had to have common sense, because, like, you just knew not to go out into the woods, into a pack, and like play with a pack of wolves. Like you knew to stay away from that. You knew as a kid, like, okay, at a certain age, don't look both ways when you're crossing the street. Don't just walk right out. It's not your world and people are just living in it. It's there's multiple people around, so you have to pay attention, because not everyone is. Not everyone is paying attention. That's the problem. That's what it all boils down to. Not everyone pays attention. So you need to. You have to pay attention, because not everyone will. So the more people that are not paying attention, the more idiots we have running around, the more people doing stupid shit that gets people hurt or worse. So all I'm saying is just try to do your part. Don't be dumb. DBD. I've said that for a hot minute now. I've been saying that for a while. DBD is something I firmly believe in. Don't be dumb. There's some things that you just know. Okay? There's some things that you just know not to do. There's certain things that logically you feel like, sometimes when somebody says something, like, ooh, that's, shouldn't have said that. Ugh. So, things like that. And then, sometimes you can say stuff and it's like not a big deal. But now we live in a world where it's made it to the point where almost everything is something you can't say. And that's a very disturbing thing, because you get to a point where, like, I'm all for free speech, but there are some things obviously you just shouldn't say. But at the same time, you start making things like too offensive, and these people, like, certain people are losing jobs over words. Like, I think when we were all growing up, we remember specifically the saying, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me." I think it went something like that. And now it's like every word hurts, so just everyone needs to just stop talking is basically what it's getting to. It's messed up, man. It really is. But back to the first part of the day here. What motivates you to get out and do what makes you happy? Forget all the offensive stuff. That I was just ranting there. But the point is, DBD, and don't be dumb. And what makes you happy, man? You got to have something else other than chasing money. To bring it back to that, you have to have something in life that makes you happy, that has nothing to do with money. It may take money to provide that happiness, but a lot of people, when you ask them, like, what do I want in life? Like, what motivates you? What are you striving for? Most people are like, man, I want to get more money. I want to buy this. I want to buy this. Everything is circled around buying stuff. But if you think about this, when you buy something, and I've said this many times before, when you buy something, it's awesome. Like, right when you buy it, right when you open up the box, right when you hand the clerk the money and you take it and you purchase it, it's like, it's awesome. But then how awesome is it in a week, a month, a year, 5, 10 years? Like, I got a perfect example of this, for me at least. What was it, 2004? I was 20, I think I was 21, 21. I think I just turned, or no, I think I was 20, about to turn 21. I bought a red 2002 35th anniversary red Camaro with the silver stripes. They only made, I believe it was like 3,000 something of them. They had like around 1,000 of the hard top, 1,000 of the D top, 1,000 of the convertible. It was like, to me, it was like I just loved it. I thought it was the shit. I thought it was one of the best cars. Like, for me, I've always loved Camaros, and that one just happened to be, it was the last year that they had made them up until that point. They started making them again in, 2007, 8, 9, somewhere in there. But anyway, at that point in time, that was the last one they made. It was the anniversary edition. It was a little faster. It had the T-tops, and I loved T-tops. To me, it was amazing, right? So anyway, I bought it back in 2004. It was 2 years old. had 48,000 miles on it at 2 years old. This dude drove it like to Florida and California and China. And when I bought it, I ended up, like, to this day, I still own it. And so 2018, you're talking 14 years later, it's a 16-year-old vehicle. And yeah, doing the math, carry the two, got it. So it's a 16-year-old vehicle, and to this day, it only has, I think it's like 98,000, 96,000. Like, I've only put on in 14 years of me owning it what this dude did in 2. So I obviously haven't driven it nearly as far. And anyhow, I loved the car when I got it. And I still kind of do, but I loved the car when I bought that car. It was like, oh man, it was my favorite thing, dude. It was awesome. See, I even went back to like puberty mode there. That's how good it was. And when I bought it, it was like everything to me. I loved the thing, right? And then as every year went by, I liked it just a little bit less. And it wasn't because it did anything wrong. It was just because I was so used to it. I had it. I drove it everywhere. I didn't ever drive it in the wintertime. I don't think that guy ever did either. But the previous owner, I mean. And it was like phenomenal to me. I loved it. I thought it was phenomenal. But now I'm looking back. It's 14 years old. I still have it. I barely ever drive it. I still like love it. It's like a sentimental thing for me. But like, I don't want to sell the thing, but at the same time, it's like, do I really need it just taking up the garage space for the most part? I drive it a tiny little bit. So it's really almost, it's kind of not worth it. So the point that I'm getting at, though, is it's not like the car has changed. I mean, yeah, it's a little older, but it still doesn't even have 100,000 miles on it yet in 16 years. And it's just to the point where I don't like it as much, or I don't care about it as much as I used to. It's not that I don't like it. I definitely love it. Every time I'm driving it, I'm like, oh, this is great. I'm so glad I still own this. But then I still don't drive it much. So I don't know. It's just, it doesn't, my point that I'm getting at, though, is that it doesn't mean to me today what it did in 2004. And so you spend this money on this vehicle, or you spend this money on this watch, or you spend this money on this boat, or this house, or whatever, and then as time goes on, you appreciate it a little. You appreciate it a little bit less. You like it a little bit less. You care about it. You value it a little bit less. Like, you don't think about it as much. You're used to it. You kind of get used to these things. And that happens with almost everything in life. The more you have something, the more you kind of take it for granted because you're used to having it. So you don't really think. A lot of times you don't take time out of your day to appreciate those things. Is all I'm really getting at. And with these things, it's like, how many things can you buy? Like, how many things is enough? When you're chasing things, like if you're motivated by things, if you're motivated by buying things, then you're never going to be happy, is what I'm getting at, because there's always something else to buy. There's always something else to go out there and get because it's the new hottest thing, the new iPhone 4, 5, 6, 7, 12. There's many of them that come out, they're going to be like coveted right away, immediately. A new movie comes out, you rush out to go watch it at the movie theater, and then when it's on Blu-ray or whatever, 4K, you rush out to go get that, and then whatever, but as time goes on, you're just like, yeah, whatever. I've already been there, done that kind of thing. It's you just don't appreciate these things after a while. And maybe you appreciate them, but you don't think about it, and it becomes second nature. You don't care. Like, meanwhile, there's like starving children all over the world and starving homeless people and all this stuff. And believe me, I am not sitting here trying to push, like, go out there and, pay, do the, what is it, so many pennies a day, 30 cents a month or whatever it is, which would be 1 penny a day. But anyhow, no, I'm not trying to advocate for anything like that. But what I'm saying is, there's all kinds of terrible, terrible, terrible situations out there in the world, and you probably don't think about that very often, depending on where you're at in life. Like, depending on how much you have, you don't really think about the lower cases, the lesser wealthy people. the less monetarily set, financially stable people. So you don't really always think about these people, and you kind of take it for granted, like all these things. And so what I'm getting at is, if you're motivated by money, if you're motivated by things, if you're motivated by buying the next cool thing and owning the next cool thing, you're never going to be happy, and you're never going to stop. You're always going to want to just keep getting more and more and more and more and more money. I've never, ever, ever heard of a billionaire that was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm done. Like, right, my level of where I want money is right there. That's it. Any more? Don't want it. Don't want it. Don't care. Don't want it. No. Every millionaire, every billionaire, a poor person, homeless person, a person with 0 cents ever, everybody wants more money. Everybody does. Nobody is like, nah, I'm good. Everybody wants more stuff. I mean, you only have so long to live. You want to experience so many things or items or toys or whatever it is. And you don't just stop and appreciate the things that really make you happy in life. Like, buying things can't just be the thing that makes you happy. There's always something in you that you really, really, really like want and value and you care about. There's always something in there. And what I'm getting at is that I believe that more than likely the thing that's in there that you really, really, really value is something that has not much to do with money. Like I said, it may take money to achieve it, but it's not something that you can just buy and discard. It's not an item like that. The thing that you probably really care about. Like, if you really care about writing songs or writing lyrics, or if you care about painting pictures or crafting wood sculptures, I don't know, whatever it is that you like, playing the harmonica, making movies, doing podcasts, anything that you like doing in life usually isn't something that costs you money to accomplish. You know what I mean? It's not like it's not a thing where you chase the money to make you happy. And I think that a lot of people get that kind of mixed up. They kind of just think that it's like, what makes you happy? Well, I really want more money. Or what do you really want in life? I want more money, because if I have more money, I can get this and this and this and this and this. And the only scenario that I can think of off the top of my head where that is somewhat of an acceptable answer, the only scenario is so you can travel the world. Because let's be honest, it takes money to travel the world. You're not traveling the world for free. I mean, unless you're hitchhiking and getting into some really shady situations. But the point is, you're probably not surviving very long for no money at all, for absolute free. So if you say that, well, I need to get more and more and more money so I can travel and travel and travel, I somewhat understand that, but at the same time, you don't really need to chase the money. You need to work to get the money to chase the dream of traveling. You know what I mean? It's a totally different mindset. It's a different reality. If your mindset is, well, I need more money, I need more money, I need to work, I need to get this, get this, get this. If that's your only focus, you're really going to be empty at the end of the day. You're going to be 60, 70, 80, 90 years old looking down and going, man, I'm still not happy. If you even make it that long. Because if you're not that happy, chances are, if you're that miserable for the majority of your life, if you really just can't ever get there, if you just can never be happy and appreciate what you have, anything that it is, then I think at the end of the day, at the end of your life, you're going to be looking back, regardless what age that is, and you're going to feel empty. And I don't think that's a great, it's a great wrap up to that story. I don't like the idea of thinking that you're going to be miserable and lonely and just regretting everything that you did in life. I think that that's a terrible way to go out, really. But I don't know. I just that's why I bring this up, is because I think a lot of people, their focus, their heart might be in the right place, but the focus is probably wrong. The focus on getting more money is never really a good way to live. It should be, what can I do to be happy? If it doesn't require money, that's good stuff. That's fantastic work. Because a lot of things, you might be great at sewing. You might be great at basket weaving, cooking, landscaping. I mean, fighting, playing sports, whatever it is that you're phenomenal. If you're great at something and you love it, you need to do that more often and think about that more. And if it costs money to accomplish that, which rarely it does, then I understand. Well, then go out there and work harder to get that until you can get to a point where you can do that. Especially to make you money. I say that all the time. I love the idea of doing something that you love and make money doing it. You do something that you love and you get paid to do it. That is like one of the greatest, truest, magical forms of happiness. Think about that. If you can do something that you genuinely love doing, if you love drawing and painting and taking photos, if you're just a wonderful photographer, if you're an awesome skateboarder or snowboarder, gymnastics, anything that you love doing, you love taking care of animals, you go to be a veterinarian, you love catering to people, try to be a nurse or what do they call it? A caregiver, caretaker, caregiver, giver and taker. No. Anyway, whatever it is that you love doing, man, if you can find a way to do that and make money doing it, dude, I say this all the time, do that. Please, go after it, regardless what age you are. It doesn't matter if you're 90 right now. If there's any way you can do something that makes you happy, you gotta focus on that. Like tunnel vision, man. Tunnel vision. For real. For real, for real, as they say. It's something. It really is. But I'm telling you, man, it's you gotta really, and woman, sorry, I don't want to discriminate. You gotta focus. You gotta really hone in on this, and especially the younger you are. The younger you are, the better, obviously, because you got time. That's the one. That's the biggest asset you have going forward is that you have time. You might not have the experience, but you got the time. So that's huge. But regardless how old you are, I believe it was Jeff Bezos, the Amazon guy, and the owner of Walmart. I keep forgetting his name. I believe they were both like in their 40s ish when they started doing what they were doing. Either that or when they became billionaires. Excuse me. Yeah, it was something like in their 40s or older. It's like they were older on in their life. I'm not saying they were old, but they were older, And yeah, man, you're never too old to do what you love doing and try to capitalize on that. And I preach this all the time. It's never too late to do that. You just have to put in the time. The big problem is buying yourself the time. The big thing is making the time to do it. I used to like coming home and playing video games or watching my sports shows all the time. I used to love like reading. I was all on Facebook all the time, and that's just the most toxic. Oh, is it toxic? I'm sorry, Facebook. You're toxic, dude. It's bad. Like every time, and I do this to my wife all the time. Anytime I rarely ever go on there, but anytime I open it up, I go watch within like 20 to 30 posts of scrolling. I'm going to see something about bashing Trump, something about Republicans, something about Democrats, something about if you believe in this, I'm unfriending you, and just hateful, dumb stuff all the time. It's just ridiculous. Instagram is not a whole lot better, but it's much better. It really is. So, oxymoron. Not a whole lot, but much better, actually. So, it is, though, because you get a lot more pictures. And I like seeing stuff. I like seeing, there's a lot of negativity. There's a lot of positivity and negativity on there, let's be honest. But at least you're seeing a lot of pictures. Or you're seeing videos of people going out there and doing their stuff. Like Instagram's just great for that. It really is. And Snapchat, same thing. You get a lot of the videos and images and stuff instead of just scrolling and seeing F you Trump and F you Hillary. And it's bad. I just hate it now. It's great for like family stuff. It is. It really is. It's great for... Facebook is great for getting in touch with your family and like long distance friends and just saying, hey, how you been? I haven't seen you in a while, whatever. But if that's the case, just send them a text, I guess. Or direct message them. DM them, It just, I don't know. I just don't like how every time you go on there, it's something hateful toward, like it feels like Facebook's trying to divide. It really does. It feels extremely political now, and I really just don't like it. Or it's somebody venting about like, oh, I just hate people that do this and this and this. And so, okay. I mean, we all do, but I don't know. And I love around holidays or like the kids that just went back to school and like every mom on there it like has it's the same day. It's the same Monday, or no, maybe it's Tuesday. I think it's right after Labor Day. And it's the first day back to school with the kids. And every mom's doing the same thing. And like on Facebook on that day, you're going to see just a flooded timeline or whatever of, hey, look at my kid going into first grade. Look at him going into third. Look at him going into ninth. Look at him going into college. Like, I don't need to see pictures of your grown children going into school anymore. I don't need to see pictures of your children getting their doctorate. Okay, I don't need to see it. So, I don't know. I get why they do it. I understand. But that's why I'm saying it's just not for me anymore. Go ahead and keep doing it, people. I'm totally fine with that, especially the moms. I know the moms love it. Go ahead and keep doing that. I'm sure when I'm a mom, I'll do the same thing. So it's no different, but my point is that's why I don't go on Facebook. It's because it's extremely predictable and it's extremely, I don't know, it's almost unnecessary for me. I'm not hating on anyone that goes on it. Please do your thing. But anyway, that was my point, is that I was constantly on there. And I was like, just scrolling. Sometimes I would comment. Sometimes I would just battle people for no reason. Like, oh, you said something I don't like, and you have 50,000 people commenting right now. I might as well be a commenter too, just so random people can battle me, and it can get me nowhere. It can just waste 2.5 days of my life battling people back and forth. It's not worth it. So I stopped doing that. Now I even do this thing on Instagram. Like if fans or whatever are reaching out and they're commenting and they're being positive and like saying good things and stuff, I'll comment on that. But it's not going to happen very often that I'm going to comment on the negative, because it's a waste of time. It's just Debbie Downers. They just want to bring you down. They're miserable. They want you to be miserable too. I don't need it. So if you got hate mail, please, I'll read it. You know what I mean? Like, I'll see it, but don't expect me to really engage much in that unless it's like something so atrocious. I'm just like, this guy is getting it. Yep. Or girl, whatever. I'll battle whoever. But anyhow, it's just there's so many toxic people, and I was wasting too much time with that. I was wasting too much time. It was bringing me down. It was making me more negative. I needed more positive things going on. Because honestly, man, I've done both sides. I've lived both sides. I've lived where I'm negative all the time, and it doesn't make life any better. I'm telling you right now, it does. Complaining constantly, which I still do much of, I do. But I'm not so negative like in life. Like life doesn't, I don't know. Trust me, I'm not asking for some negative things to start happening. All I'm saying is, I try to look for positives. I always have tried to look for positives, because in every single situation, every single thing that happens, there's always a negative and a positive. It just depends on how you want to choose to look at it. It really does. It 100% depends on how you choose to look at each and every single situation. Every scenario that plays out, there is a positive and a negative. Every time. And you need to choose which way you want to go with it. Because being negative just weighs on you. You're noticing bad stuff happening. Everyone is. You're bringing up the fact that bad stuff happens. Everyone knows these things. Most people do. So it's not very productive to just keep like being negative and living negative, waking up negative and staying that way the whole day, and like finding, like when you're driving, just, oh, that guy cut over before his turn signal wasn't on long enough before he cut in front of me, and he's 20 feet up the road, or yards, miles, whatever. But like, people will find reasons to be negative. At work, it's really bad. At work, it's really bad sometimes, especially at the place I'm at. Not here. Not here. This is not bad work. I like this. This is very positive work. I try to make it positive. And I make my own hours. I never write myself up. I have not had a sexual harassment case yet. luckily. So, but it is just me here. So, anyhow, yeah. So back to being positive and getting that bad out of here. What I needed to do was seriously, I needed to cut out the Facebook, cut out so much video. You got to buy time. You have to make your own time to make change. If you're trying to get into doing something more often, like say you want to get good at playing the guitar, if you don't play the guitar and you don't read about how to play and you don't study people that were really good and you don't watch videos and you don't buy better, cooler and better equipment and learn, if you don't do these things, if you don't expand and you don't grow, you're never going to learn nothing and you're never going to get good at anything. So you have to buy the time. You have to spend money. You have to spend, not necessarily the money because it depends what it is, but you have to spend the time, the effort into making what you want happen. You know what I mean? You really do. But if you don't put in the time and the work, you're never going to get anywhere. Like I find that more often than not now, I'm doing more research on things. I'm trying to, if I feel like I know something, maybe I don't do as much research on it now, but if I feel like I don't, if like I'm not really well versed in whatever it is that we're talking about, discussing, and if I don't know much about it, I'm not going to sit there and pretend like, oh yeah, no, I totally get what you're talking about. No, I'm going to tell you straight up like, man, I don't know. And next time I talk to you, I'm probably going to know a lot more because every time I learn that I don't know something, I immediately try to learn more about that. Now, I'm not saying I learn everything about it or all the ins and outs, but I at least try to get better so that way I'm not so dumb and given topic. And I think everybody should do that. Really, I do. I think everybody should try to grow and expand and get smarter. You know how often people are just like, they're arguing people about like certain politics when they don't even know the law or what's actually really even happening. They just hear stuff on the news and the media and they hear like, oh, this person said this or this person did this. And then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, they shouldn't have that. That person's evil. And it's like, well, wait, did you actually read the whole story? Did that person actually do that or say that? We do this all the time, and we do this with gossip around work and friends and family, and we do this like all the time in life. Like we hear rumors, and instead of actually learning more about what it is that the particular rumor or news is, we either choose to just blindly follow it and just whatever they say goes, or B, blindly ignore it and pretend, nope, you're definitely wrong because it doesn't fall in line with my personal beliefs. So you're definitely wrong. Like you need to look at the facts. I think everyone needs to analyze each and every situation, look at all the facts, look at the motives behind what is actually happening. Why are they saying what they're saying? Why are they doing what they're doing? And then you make a judgment. Then you make an assessment. Like I remember it was always innocent until proven guilty. Now it's just like, oh, as soon as you hear something's bad, it's like, bam, they did it. Bad person. We're all guilty of something. Like, we all fall short, is all I'm saying. None of us are perfect. None of us are, idols. None of us are anything worth worshiping here. So we all have some flaws. We all do some things wrong. We all think certain things evil or bad about people. And then maybe later, then you learn more. You change your mind. You have some grace towards that person, I guess, or you have some form of like you don't have that hatred towards that person or that idea anymore, or you've learned more about the idea or the person, which makes you totally change how you look at the way they took that stance in the first place. I don't know. It's very bad, man. Very bad. But bottom line is you need to be more informed. All of us, not you, me too. We all need to be more informed. We all need to find a way to learn and grow and stop accusing people right off the bat of doing the wrong thing or even looking for the wrong thing in that person. Like it seems like more often than not now when we're looking in the news, we're trying to find something wrong just so we can judge that person. So we can be like, yeah, you effed up. I didn't. You did. I mean, I did a long time ago, but you don't know about that. But you did now. And maybe I did also yesterday, but you don't know about that either. So the point is, we all screw up, we all do stupid shit, and you shouldn't just jump right at yelling at that person like you've never done nothing wrong and they obviously have. So I don't know, man. There's just so much negativity in life, and what I'm saying is, I tried to get to the point where I cut a lot of that out. I cut a lot of the BS downtime out, and I started working at trying to do something else, get something better going for me. You know what I mean? Like, get something that I really love doing, really love. And this is what I do. This is what I love doing, man. I love not just me talking and nobody, like nobody in front, like nobody's here. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that I just love talking out loud to myself. I love communicating with people. I love sharing ideas of things, man. I can't stress that enough. Like, I encourage, in my show, man, I highly encourage people to comment anywhere you can find me. Comment, talk to me, tell me how you're feeling about a certain issue. Maybe I said something offensive. I didn't mean to. Trust me, I'm not out here trying to offend people. That's not my goal. What I am trying to do is straight up talk about facts. I want to learn things. I want to know more. I want everyone to learn more. I want to talk about what is true in life, what is actually real, factually, in all walks of life. I'm not talking I'm talking political. I'm talking about science. I'm talking relationships. I'm talking the media. I'm talking. You pick a topic, man. I don't care what the topic is. I want to know the truth. I want to know as much as physically possible about it. That's just how I'm built. That's just how I've always been. I always love learning everything I can possibly understand about the universe and life and why we're here, why everything is the way it is. Like, what made it that way, why it's that way, and just how great it is, and just there's so much I'm sure we don't know. I'm sure, like, we might look out into the universe and be like, yeah, it goes on for so long and there's so many stars. And then we look into our own oceans and we go, yeah, it gets so deep and it gets so dark and there's so many creatures. And then we get down to the molecular level and we're like, yeah, it gets so small and down to that. And that's about it. But why? And if we know that much, we didn't know this like 1,000 years ago about the molecular level and all that. We didn't know that 1,000 years ago or 2,000 years ago. But we do now. So imagine what we might know in 1,000 more. Imagine what we could possibly know in 1,000 more years. Like, it blows my mind to think like that. And I want to know as much as physically possible. I really do. I know I don't know everything. Close, but I'm not quite there yet. No. No, I don't. And I know that. And so I may say things that are wrong sometimes. And trust me, I don't mean them to be wrong. I may believe them to be right at the time. But if I'm wrong, tell me. Comment. Let me know. Let me know why I'm wrong. And we can talk about it. That's why we're here. And I want everyone to feel like they're part of the show. I want everyone in the world to be involved so everybody can have a voice and talk and get their ideas out. Because maybe you want to hear a topic talked about, or something that we can all learn something about together. Maybe you want to hear something and I haven't said it yet, or I haven't talked about it yet. And I'm going to be getting like guests on the show every now and again, and I want to have them, talk about their walks of life, why they are the way they are, who they are, and things like this, and just learn more about everyone in general. That's why I encourage everyone to comment, because I want everyone to be able to have an idea and have a voice, and everyone's relevant. We're all human beings together. We're all in this together. We're all relevant together. None of us are any superior or inferior to the others. We're all equal human beings. We're all relevant. So stay relevant. Let's talk about it. And I don't mean that to be like MGK or Eminem or whatever. And yeah, I just want us to all learn. I want everyone. I want the issues that are being misconstrued in the media. I want things that are. I want all the ideas that are pushed on us that are wrong. I want the truth to come out. I want the facts, the logic, the common sense. I want the arguments and the ideas to bring forth the right way to do things, the true way to do things, what's real, factual, true. I want all that to come to the surface. I want to do that as much as I possibly can. I want to help enlighten everyone, including myself. I'm not some know-it-all. I'm not trying to be. But if you guys feel that, then that's fine. Yeah, man. I don't know. Well, I want to do this more often, and I want to talk about everything we can. And so anyway, what I was getting at before is that what is it in life that you want to do? This is kind of what I want to do. I want this. I've always liked this. I've always liked the idea of talking with people. I've always liked learning and studying people. I've always liked finding out anything I can as far as how life works and why it works the way it does, why people are the way they are, how they were raised, all that stuff. So anything that I can learn, I'm down for. So that's why I think the show is perfect for me. And maybe it is for you, maybe it's not for you. But I'm hoping for all of us to be in this together. I'm hoping for everyone to have a voice. I'm hoping for everyone to feel like you're relevant, man, because you are. You really are. Whether I say it or not, you really are. Factually, everyone is relevant. Every human life is relevant in some way. Everyone has something to offer. Everyone has a gift. Everyone has something just powerful about them. So we're all relevant, regardless what you hear anybody ever say. You're relevant. Factually, you are. But for me on this show, this is what I like to do. I like to talk, obviously. I like to communicate. What do you like to do? What is it that you're good at? What do you like doing? I'm not saying I'm good at this. I want to be, but I'm not saying I'm there yet. What do you want to do in life, though? What is it you are happy doing? Take the money out of it. If anything, look at it like that. If anything, say to yourself, what am I trying to achieve? What are my goals? But under no circumstance can you include money. Like, take money off the list is all I'm saying. I mean, like I said, you can spend money to get whatever. Maybe you want to move to Connecticut. That's where you just desperately need to be, is Connecticut. And you decide, I'm saving up all my money as much as I can, quitting my job, I'm moving to Connecticut, it's done. That's what you want to do. It's like, then, okay, you can do that. But is that going to make you happy? Because if moving to Connecticut is the only thing you care about, or moving to Montana, or moving to Miami, or moving to Vegas, or moving to LA to try to get a big break in a film, right? If you focus on what it is you think that you're capable of, what are you good at, what do you like doing? If those two things can match, you're perfect. You're good to go. You're ready. So, yeah. I always love stressing that to people, because I think people get in this routine, especially because of school, because of high school. They teach you just basically how to get by and be a worker bee. They really do. They don't really, if you think about it, school, most high schools don't really push you off in the routine of like being what you want to be. It really teaches you on how to like get by in life, kind of. It just teaches you how to go look for a job. Like, I remember in school, I took electronics trade school, the vocational technical school or whatever it was, and I took electronics, and I thought at the time that was what I really, really, really wanted to do. And then I even did a little bit of college afterwards. Well, it turns out I don't like electronics. I'm not knocking it for anybody that does. Just I don't. Like, the things that I ended up learning, I just didn't want to do anymore. I just didn't want it. That wasn't my passion. That's all I'm saying. I'm not knocking it. It's an awesome field. People have done some amazing things in it. It just wasn't for me. As a matter of fact, one of my best buddy, my long-term buddy, grew up across the street from me. He was one grade behind me, and he took electronics too, and he excelled even past me. He went and like did some like state championship thing, and I don't remember what he placed in, but he ended up getting like something. He had to build some electronic thing, switch or circuit board and everything, and it was awesome. See, like, I barely even know what I'm talking about now about the circuit board stuff, and I took it for like several years. I even have a certificate in it. That shows how good those pieces of paper. When I say people get these degrees and they think that they're the smartest people on earth, that's bullshit. That is, I'm telling you right now, because I don't have a degree, but I had a piece of paper, a 2-year certificate that was like, yeah, he knows some stuff. I don't remember barely any of it. So I don't know some stuff. That's what I'm getting at. That's my point, is that I have a certificate that says that, like, I could take that somewhere, probably not now because I'm putting it on film, but I could take that thing somewhere. I could take that piece of paper and say, look, man, I got a 2-year certificate. I know what I'm talking about. I even got some college courses after high school, and they'd be like, wow, that's impressive, man. You should be hired here. And then I'd get there, and I'd be like, what's a diode? What do you mean? It's like, what's a resistor? A on-off switch? I know that. I do know those. Like, I don't know, man. I'm like, I took it for years. I kind of enjoyed it. Here's the problem. The teacher was phenomenal. I remember this teacher. I loved this teacher. He made it fun. This is how much I didn't like electronics. He made it so exciting. I still quit doing it. It's a true story. Mr. McLean. Oh, shout out to Mr. McLean. Shout out to Ben Ogden, because he's the guy that I'm talking about that built that wonderful little circuitry. And my buddy for a long time now. And shout out to Courtney, because she always used to come into that class. She was a class, I don't want to say mascot, but like she used to come in all the time. Like everyone in the class knew her. The teacher knew her, loved her to death. Loved her to death. Courtney, if you're out there, you hear this. Yeah, shout out to you too. And John, Big John. Oh, we love John. John was a good time too. Anyway, the long story short is the class was amazing. The teacher was phenomenal. I love the guy. I hope he's doing well, man. I hope he's still out there somewhere doing amazing. I love that guy. Mr. McLean, you were the man. You really are. Are, whatever. You were big impact on my high school. I heard a wise man once say, typically in your life, you can only really remember a few teachers. Like maybe on one hand, you can count how many teachers you remember that impacted you. And that dude might be at the top of my list. Probably. He probably is at the top of my list. Just because he was such an awesome dude. Such a good man. But anyway, point was, I didn't like doing that. I went to school for it. And high school kind of teaches you to like pick something and just do it and just go. And you're like, oh man, I don't know what I want to do. So I asked my dad, I was like, hey dad, what would you if you could start over and go to college and all that, what would you go to school for? And he goes, electronics. Because it paid so good at GM. He worked at GM. He retired from there. And he said electronics. And so, or like electrical, that's what he said. And I was like, yeah, all right. So I'll get into that. So in 10th grade, or no, 11th, going into 11th grade, I signed up for the electronics. That's what I did. So, and because they pushed that in high school, man, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade, they pushed like, pick a field, start focusing on it, get good at that, and then go to college for it. And it's like, dude, I don't know what I want to be when I'm 15, 16 years old. I didn't even turn 16 until partially through my 10th grade year. No, 11th grade. I'm sorry. I graduated when I was 17. Not because I was super smart. I'd like to believe so. But because I started school young. So, but anyway, yeah, I was 16. Dude, when I started my senior year, I was 16 years old and turned 17. Right? Yeah. Yeah. I turned 17 in October. Graduated in 2001. Born October 1983. You do the math, dude. Graduated May or June or whatever of 2001. You do the math. 17 years old. Anyway, not bragging. But no. But yeah, dude, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had no clue what I wanted to do. So I asked my dad, and the reason why he said electrical is purely because it made more money. And it led me to go in that field. Now, I'm grateful it did, because I would have never taken that class with Mr. McLean had it not been for my dad. So shout out to old Pops on that one, Dad. That was awesome. No, that teacher was amazing. But, man, he just, I don't know. Him as a person impacted my life more than the class itself, or more than the content of what I learned. But the point of the story is, I learned that I didn't like that. I learned that that's not what I want to go to school for. But it was too late. I was already kind of on that path. So I did it, and then I went to college for like 2 years, only like a couple of semesters. I didn't go like full time or nothing. And I ended up not liking it, and I quit. And then I kind of bumbled around for a while, not really realizing what I wanted to do. But what I did end up doing is going to work at a plastics company. And I thought that I was going to make that my career. I thought that was going to be like the place I retired from, because that's kind of what I was taught. That's how I was raised. Just go out there, earn a living, save your 401k, get all your money, and then when you retire, you can just spend it. And that's not realistic. Not in today's world. Not at all. Because my 401k is never going to be big enough to live off of unless I want to live averagely mediocre, possibly poor my whole life. And I'm not saying I'm poor, but what I'm saying is if you go in the route of what I was doing is going the route of just getting by basically for the next 30 years. That's the route that I was taking. And I didn't realize that because at the time that I started the job, it was a phenomenal job. Pay was amazing. Benefits amazing. The morale, the culture was amazing. And, excuse me, but it started, as the years went on and the company just started going south and south and south, and it just made me want to get out, out, out the door. And I don't know, man. It's if you're not doing something that's your passion, if you're not doing something that makes you really happy, it makes it hard to go into work every day. And if you got to do 8 hours a day, minimum, 5 days a week on average, we're talking. If you're doing this, you're living almost a third of your life going to work, doing your work. If you're doing only 8 hours, a lot of people are working a lot longer hours. And now I'm working a lot longer hours. But my point is, when you're doing the minimum, like say well, we'll call it on average. It's probably less, right? But because there are some people doing part-time jobs and then school and stuff like that. But what I'm getting at is the whole idea of, if you go to work at a place, especially a place that you're not extraordinarily happy with, if you go in the door and you're just not happy, if you go to a job that you don't even like waking up to go into, you don't like the mood kills you when you walk in, just a cloud of hate, basically, not a hate, but just a cloud of negativity takes over you when you come through the door. Like, it just sucks the life out of you. And if you're working on average a third of your day, think about that, a third of your day, almost every day. Occasionally you get some days off here and there and all that, but on average, we're going to say you get 8 hours a day every day. And so you're talking a third of your 24 hours is dedicated to work. Another third on average, 8 hours of sleep. Another third is dedicated to, your sleep. And then your last third of enjoyment, like you getting to do whatever else. Not necessarily enjoyment, because sometimes you got to do a lot of things you don't want to do in that 8 hours there. But you got 8 hours of work, a third of your day is work, a third of your day is sleep, and a third of your day is spent doing whatever else you can do. So you really only have, on average, a third, if you hate your job, that is. So this is this scenario over here. You hate your job, you got to sleep, and then you get to do whatever else you can do. Not necessarily what you want to do, because sometimes you got priorities that you got to take care of in that 8-hour window. And sometimes you don't, it's not enjoyable. But then you get the other scenario on the other side. You love your job, you got to sleep, and then you get to do whatever else. So if you got to spend a third of your day sleeping, wipe that out. Some people sleep less, some people sleep more, whatever. But say you spend a third of your day sleeping. The next third of your day is work, but you love it. You love doing it. It's just great. It's fun. You enjoy it. It's something you always loved. You're good at it. Why wouldn't you want to do it? So then you're doing, for 8 hours, another third of your day is spent enjoying what you're doing. And technically, let's be honest, most of us love sleep. So technically that third you are enjoying what you're doing too. And then the last third is spent doing whatever else you got to do. So maybe what I'm getting at is, if you enjoy sleep, if you enjoy that third of your life, that's awesome. If you enjoy the other third, which is work, if you enjoy that, you got 2/3 of your day every day that you love doing. And then the third one is everything else. And let's be honest, most of those times is going to be spent doing what you want to do then too. It really is. And then sometimes you're going to do things you don't want to do. So man, you're talking 2/3 minimum is enjoyable. 2/3 of your day every day is enjoyable. And then the other third, man, is a crapshoot, really. It's a toss-up. It could be anybody's guess. But those 2/3, now you're talking more than half of your day, more than half of your life is spent doing something that you genuinely enjoy doing. And especially if you can get paid to do it. Dude, you're talking happiness, man. You're talking, that should be what motivates you every day. Every day that you wake up, you should be motivated to make that become your reality, because it is possible. Like, a lot of us are taught when you're growing up that it's not likely. The chances are very low. The risk is very high. Dude, you gotta get rid of all that noise. Forget all that. Don't ever listen to that. I did for a long time. Don't ever listen to that. You don't want to listen to that advice. It's going to come at you from friends, family, teachers. Don't listen to that, because if you genuinely love doing something, especially if you're young, Regardless of age though, if you genuinely love doing something, do it as often as you can, because you only get so much time in a day. You only get so much time in your life. Enjoy as much as you possibly can. And if you can find a way to make money doing what you enjoy doing, why would you not do that? It's amazing. I don't know. That's all I really wanted to say about in this episode here, is that I really want to get to the core of what motivates each and every individual. What motivates you as a person? If you're saying it's money, if you're saying you want more toys, you want a new yacht, you want a new mansion, you want a new Ferrari, whatever. Listen, if that it's just empty, man. I'm telling you, you're gonna enjoy it now. You're gonna enjoy it the day you get it. But eventually, everything you buy that you spend a lump sum of money on is just you're like throwing it out the window. Because at 10 years from now, that car that you just bought, that house that you just bought, that boat that you just bought, you'll either A, be getting rid of them, or B, you just don't even really care about them anymore. You might still have them, but they don't really mean what they did at one point. And that's huge, man. Now, here's my thing, though. And I wanted to throw this in. I want to wrap this up real quick, but I at least need to make this point. That if you love, like, you have to look at what angle you're coming from. All right, it's all about up here. It's a mindset. This is important. This, if anything, if you take anything out of what I'm saying today, take this. It's perfectly a mindset. Let me explain why. If your intention of, I want more money so I can get a boat, if that's your intention, that's probably idiotic. I don't want to say idiotic. It's not that the intention is idiotic. That approach is idiotic. Because you can want a boat, but the bigger picture is, what makes you happy? Getting more money so you can buy a boat, and so you can buy a car, and so you can buy this, and so you can buy that? Or is your approach, man, I really need to make more money so I can get me a boat because I love being out on the water. I love fishing. I love speedboats. I love just being out on the water. I love riding the waves. I love enjoying the sun. I love all, like, if you love enjoying the moment of what you're doing, if the experience is what you love, if that's what makes you happy, that's the right approach that you should go at it. Not, man, I really want to make more money. I really want to win the lottery. I really want to get this just so I can buy a boat, just so I can buy more things. I can buy a new Rolex. I can buy this. I can buy that. Dude, if your approach is that angle, it's idiotic. And I'm not trying to call anyone in here an idiot, but it's idiotic. That mindset, that approach is idiotic. The approach should always be, what moments can I experience that will bring me joy and happiness? What things in life do I genuinely care about feeling and seeing and experiencing? And how can I make that happen more regularly? That should be your approach. And if you got that approach, all the other things are going to come into play. You'll work extra hard. You'll work extra hours. You'll put more time into achieving what it takes to do. You'll cut out all the BS time. You'll cut out some of that Facebook time and some of that Netflix time, like of binge watching new shows, and you'll cut out all the video gaming constantly. And I'm not saying to quit those things altogether. I didn't quit watching my sports shows completely and completely quit playing video games. I still do all those things. I love doing those things. Matter of fact, you'll probably see some videos on this channel that are of me playing a couple video games, because that was right when I first started getting into videoing me doing anything. And I did it on PS4. I did it with one game. So I started playing that a little bit, and I just wanted to experiment with the whole idea of streaming and stuff. And it really sparked this whole podcasting, because it genuinely matches something that I kind of like doing with something I feel that I'm somewhat good at, and something that it just really, really interests me, and I love doing it. Is talking and communicating and sharing information with the world, with everybody. So it was just perfect. But anyway, you'll probably see those videos. I still love video gaming, but the point is, I don't do it nonstop like I used to. I used to play it as much as possible. I used to come home every day after work, and me and a buddy that I worked with would just jump right on the video games and online, and we would play until like noon or 1, or like, because I work midnight, so I'd get off at like 8 in the morning, and we would play till like noon, 1, 2 in the afternoon. And it was it was nonstop, but I wasn't going anywhere in life doing that every single day. I'm not saying don't do that ever. And especially if you're like a Twitch player, if you're like a streamer, like a video gamer, and you're making money doing it, please, I'm not knocking that. That's awesome. I just don't have the time to do that full time like that. I can't put in that kind of time. So I wish I could, but I don't think my wife would like me playing video games nonstop every day and doing nothing else. So I don't think that relationship would last very long. But focus on what it is that you like, what you're good at, what you genuinely are interested in, and focus how to accomplish that, and cut out chunks of your day. Anytime you have downtime, think to yourself, do I need to just sit back and relax and chill and do, BS, or is this a perfect opportunity to work on building something for the future? Because I heard this is one of the wisest ways of putting it that I've ever heard. But you got to treat anything like that, any kind of a new business that you want to try, or any kind of a new idea that you want to focus on, or anything that you want to put time and effort into and get good at. This guy says it like this. He said, you got to treat it like a flower. You got to water it daily. That doesn't mean that you have to spend a ton of time doing anything all day. You don't have to cut out all the other stuff. It's just slowly chip away, like a sculptor, Just slowly chip away until that bad boy is looking beautiful, and it's right where you want to be. So, I don't know, folks. I'll leave it at that. This was an awesome talk. I hope this helped anybody. If I said something wrong or bad, please let me know. Comment. You can find it on Instagram, Really Rich Podcast, or AJamRich. You can find me on Snapchat at Really Rich, and Twitter and Tumblr. You can find me at Really Rich Adam. So, yeah, I don't think I missed any. If you're listening to this on the audio, I love you guys. I've loved you since the beginning. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. And I'm glad I can do this now on YouTube and, Spotify, Anchor, and Stitcher, and all you guys, Apple Podcasts, all these ones, right? Sorry if I'm forgetting any. But anyway, I love you guys. Thank you so much. And if you're new to the show and you're watching on YouTube, I love you guys too. I do this all the time. I want to make sure you guys know I'm not just BSing. This is not something it's not some shtick or whatever. I genuinely care about people. I genuinely want to share ideas. I genuinely want to help people, and I want to be helped also. I want to learn stuff myself. I want to get smarter in the process too. And I don't want to just, this is not just for nothing. So, but like I said, I encourage everyone to comment, talk to me, let me know if I did something wrong. If you loved it, please like, share, subscribe, anything you can do. I love you guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And we'll see you soon. See ya.